Ooh-wee, Macho MasDuro in the building. Today's barber tutorial is going to be a nice, quick, clean, bald skin fade, one with the grain. Real simple. Alright, so all my beginners out there, it's going to be real simple. First, it's going to be on ethnic hair, so I always go with the grain on ethnic hair. So once I do, put my number 1 clip on it, and I just go with the grain. Close lever with the grain. All the way around. I make sure that I get every strand, make sure that everything is nice and even, make sure I can have a good canvas, so when I start using these bald fade, when I start doing the bald fade, the initial guideline, I use my baldings. So I make sure everything's nice and neat. So just making sure, going around the whole head, making sure everything's nice and even, and it's down to a number 1. Basically, it's going to be looking like a Caesar practically. And that way, when you start using your baldings, you have that nice guideline that you can create. I make sure I go over everything. Remember, that is most important. Take your time with it, making sure everything is nice and even. You don't want no bumps. You want a smooth transition. Once I make sure everything is nice and neat, I take my baldings, my wall baldings, all right? I create my initial guideline. Once I'm creating my initial guideline right now, I make sure I clean up everything. I don't just make my initial guideline and just go start, using and start fading. I make sure I get every strand of hair, making it nice, clean, bald. I have a nice canvas, a nice guideline. And that guideline I'm about to erase. I use my fast feeds to erase my initial guideline. I open up my level and I always go above. A lot of people say go about a 1/4 inch up. I like to go higher, especially when it's a nice, just regular clean cut fade like this. I go a little bit higher than most. Alright, it's all a preference, but I go all the way up. Then I close my lever, erasing that initial guideline that I created with the baldings. I erase it, I hit the line. Once I start hitting that line, I adjust my lever halfway up, again going about maybe an 1/8 up, to start erasing that initial guideline that I created with the baldings. Once I did that, I go to my magic clip. Once I hit my magic clip, I hit my half guard. With my half guard, I close it all the way up, and I do about an 1/8 up, making another initial guideline all the way up. I go all the way up with that. So remember, it's a half, and I close it. Once I close it, I go to my number 1. Once with my number 1 all the way up, I start going all the way up, getting that nice smooth transition blend. Once I start doing that nice smooth transition blend with the 1 guard all the way up, I make sure everything is nice and neat, nice smooth transition from the 1 with the grain to the top all the way down, making me see that I have that nice smooth transition. Then I close my lever, making it a true 1. Once I make it a true 1, I go all the way down and making sure everything is nice and neat, and making sure everything, that guideline is looking real crisp. You get what I'm saying? I like to see that blend. I make sure I do all this, and then I go back with the half and I open it. Once I open it with the half, I use my corners, going all over what I just did with that initial guideline, making sure that there's no lines in it that I can see, and making sure it looks nice and smooth. You get what I'm saying? Then once again I just do a number 1, just going over the top with the grain, making sure everything nice and neat. I'll go ahead, just clean up around, making sure everything is nice, neat, and blended. Same thing on the other side. When I do the one side, I do to the other. Usually I do the whole haircut in one, but for the barber tutorial, I'm just going ahead and I'm just doing it by sections. Once again, I have my wall baldings. I go ahead, I create my initial guideline, making sure everything's nice and neat and clean. Then I go to my fast feeds, open up the lever above a 1/4 inch all the way around, making sure it's nice and neat, making sure that my initial guideline that I have in the bottom that I'm about to erase, that I just did with the wall baldings. Then I close it. Once I close it, I go about 1/8 all the way up. I start closing, start blending. Once I start blending, then that I see, I switch it halfway up, not going to that other guideline that I created. Remember, you don't want to surpass that. You do not want to surpass that. Make sure you stay there. Erase the first initial guideline. That's what I'm doing right now. Once I erased it, then I go to my magic clip and I do the half closed. I go up about a 1/4 inch on it. So I'll be like bam, bam. I hit it 1/4 inch, making sure everything's nice and neat. Once I make sure everything is nice and neat that I'm already cutting, then I go ahead and I'll go to my number 1. I open it all the way up, making that get that nice smooth transition from the number 1 guard that I did with the grain on top. Okay, so therefore you can still see that initial guideline that I created, my second initial guideline. That's what we're erasing right now. So this right here, what I'm going to be doing after I do that, I close Remember, it's a one open. Then I close it, starting to erase and starting to see that nice smooth transition that I did. Now what I do now, I get my half guard and I open it. And I start using the corners, making sure I don't go above that initial guideline I created, making a nice smooth transition blend. Once I start seeing a nice smooth transition blend, then I start going over it, just making sure over the details, you know, making sure that I didn't miss anything. There's no lines and there's nice smooth transition blend. And I just like to go over it one more time with the one on top. And basically, after that, then you have a nice, smooth, crisp, classic, clean cut, bald skin fade. I also take my Andes and I just, you know, my shavers, just making sure I get all the little hairs in the back or whatnot, making it a true bald fade. Now when I start coming up to the shape up right now, a lot of people, sometimes you got to create it. Make sure you always want to keep it all natural, okay? So I like to keep it real natural. I do my initial guideline. I start from the middle. I'm right-handed, so I'll start from my left, then I'll go to my right. Make sure you do not push the shape up back. You want to have a nice, smooth, clean, natural shape up. Sometimes even if you have to make it, you don't have to be giving it that extra push. All right, let the clippers do it. So I make sure just everything is nice and even, and I let the clippers do the work. You know, sometimes if you want, you need to step back and just visualize it. The mirror's there. The mirror's your best friend too. What I like to do sometimes, I just go ahead and kick back and I just sit back and I'll see one side and I'll just go ahead and attack the other side and just take my time with it. I like taking my time with it, you know. It's always quality over quantity. Once I do my initial following from one side to the next, you know, I like to just go ahead and double check. And I'm picky, so I like to just keep on going over it sometimes, you know. There's no problem going over it again, you know what I'm saying? You just want to make sure that you have it right the first time and it's nice and even and it looks symmetrical on both sides, you know. That's what we're shooting for. And it looks, you know, nice, clean cut, you know, not pushed back, you know. So when the client comes back, he'd be like, yo, what did you do my shape up? Yo, it's all the way, I got a LeBron. You don't want a LeBron. You get what I'm saying? You want to keep it nice and natural. And sometimes it takes more than others. Some people don't have it, like I said, so you just take your time with it. Making sure that both sides look symmetrical. Then, after you do that, what I end up doing is I use my Tune 45 shave gel made by Barbers, for Barbers. You don't need a lot of this. You don't need a lot. You know what I'm saying? What you do with this, you just put a little dab on it. I like to put it on, you know, just on my fingers. A little dab on it. I'll mix it in. Once I mix it in, then I'll just lean them back. And I'll start and I'll use the razor on them. Once I use the razor on them, it's practically almost done from there. You know, what you end up doing right now is just looking back at it and making sure that you can go around the whole head, making sure everything is nice and neat. You know, you start using that and you just start coming back and looking at it. And then you can just do your touch-ups at the end, you know. Just make sure you look in the mirror, you look at the angles, and you can always go back and you can just fix whatever needs to be fixing. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, always take your time with the haircut, you know. You want to make sure that your haircut, that's their bit. Yeah, that's basically your billboard. You get what I'm saying? Self-explanatory. Right now I'm passing the razor. Once I pass the razor, that's all you need. Nice clean cut. And that's it. And that's basically the bald skin fade one with the grain. Nice, sweet, and simple. Ooh-wee.